Morning, guys. Thursday. So it's May 18th, 2023. So I've got this old 235. When I bought the 48, it was a 2-ton truck. And I've got this chassis out here with a good engine and transmission. And I don't like to just let them sit and sit. I like to keep them running and move the oil around. That's the best way. Everybody says, well, fog it, but what ends up happening is a lot of the area and the motor doesn't get fogged and you end up accumulating rust inside of the engine. The best way is to run it every once in a while. But when I came out to run it, it cranks and doesn't want to start. And I kind of diagnosed it down here to the points and not, even though the points look fairly new, they're not that new, I guess, because they're not working. So one way you easily can test to see if, say, your coil is good all the way down to here, because sometimes these wires break down. What you can do is, once you apply power to the coil, if you just take your screwdriver and touch the spring, I don't know if you can hear that clicking. You see it right here, the spark. So that tells me I'm good to the points, but when I open and close the points, nothing. So there's no contact through those points. And they, like I say, they don't look that old. It looks like somebody put a set in there not too long ago and they're gapped properly, but I'll have to take them out. And you know, they're made, you know, you always see guys with point files and stuff like that. And that was great back in the day when the whole surface of the contact here was brass. But later on they make these cheap ones now, and the contact surface is thin as a sheet of tin foil. And once you burn up that tin foil coating over the top, which is the highly conductive part, it's just monkey metal and it pits, and even a capacitor, a good capacitor, can't save it. So it doesn't look like I'm going to get it running right now. Second best, I did crank it around a little bit, so I know the cylinder's got some oil and everything. And I'll go down and get a set of points later on, I guess, and put them in. My plan on this 235 is I'm going to build a rat rod, and I'm going to pull this powertrain out. Maybe throw a crazy set of headers and 2 carburetors on it. Just 2 of the same kind of carburetors, or maybe just one 4-barrel or something, you know what I'm saying? I'll figure out something. There's a lot of parts on the internet for these engines, these 235s, and the reason why I'm not getting rid of it is it runs and it doesn't leak oil. I mean, I had this running for quite a while, and it's like every time I would buy an older engine, the rear main seal, you know, would leak like a sieve. But this one's dry. So, and it's got a fairly new clutch in it too, I notice. Tuned up with plugs and wires and everything. It's got a new cap rotor button, a new fan belt. I got a new water pump for it. The starter, it's all 6 volt. Still works fine. I got a decent 6 volt battery that I've been keeping charged. So I got a good powertrain for my start. Do I want to use this big frame? I had thought about cutting this big frame down, you know, and doing like a shorter version. But when you start dealing with these trucks with the big suspension, you can't drive them. I mean, they're cool to take to a show, you know, and you can flip the flame upside down and have the springs going the other way. I mean, I've seen all kinds of tricks. But realistically, when you go try to drive it, you come off like an on-ramp, or off-ramp rather, and you hit a bump and the ass end wants to spin around on you. They're just, you know, you can't drive them. The suspension is just too much no matter how much you soften it. And duals bounce like basketballs. So I cut the bumper in half, and I was just kind of laying it out to try to come up with an idea on a bumper. What I'm thinking is to have a step maybe in the middle. This piece may or may not be here, I don't know. It may look like this, I don't know. Haven't decided. Haven't decided. I'm just pulling steel out right now and placing it there and looking at it. Thought about a few different things. Not much is going on the bodywork since the last video. I had to run up into the city this morning. I have not been downtown Newport, Rhode Island for many years. And I was amazed to find out that some of the business that closed during COVID is still closed. It's a damn shame. But people like me quit going, I guess. Out from rusty Rhode Island.